Need to eat. Been up for 12 hours. With 2 sockets on it. It is good to see you, Mr. Diamond. I have missed you dearly. Is Max Tier Arbiter need to get Diamond? No. It's more likely, though. Significantly more likely. What is up, YouTube? I'm actually so excited to share with you guys this strategy that I discovered. The viability of it is heavily dependent on the cost of the materials. I want to make that very, very clear right now. However, I made 110, 120 div in 2.5 hours. Pure profit running Normal Arbiter. And let me show you how I did it. When I was running this yesterday, I was able to buy the fragments for very cheap. Some of them I was buying for 70 each, some of them I was buying for 40. I was even able to buy these fragments for 25 each. But what ended up happening was the total cost per set of fragments was equal to 1/3 of a div. So each Arbiter fight only cost me 1/3 of a div to do. 3 tries cost me 1 div. Now you might be thinking, what the fuck is the point of fighting Normal Arbiter? And that's a very, very excellent question. The reason why we fight Arbiter in general is to hunt these unidentified Prism of Belief diamonds. As you can see, these are going for 32 div each. Yesterday, however, they were going for 34 div each. The reason why these are so valuable is because you can get things like +3 to Spark skills. And because Spark is one of the most meta abilities in the game, those go for 1900 divines all the way up to like 2200. A mirror and a half pretty much. These are incredibly powerful and as a result, incredibly expensive to buy. And that's pretty much what we're farming for. So I thought of this strategy because someone in chat wanted me to farm Uber Arbiter. And if you see here, the price of primary calamity fragments, the Uber Arbiter key, is like 2.5 div each. I sold 22 for that much, and the price for the other keys are like 1.8 div each. It unironically costs you 5.5 div each time to try Uber Arbiter. And Uber Arbiter has a much higher chance of dropping these Prism of Beliefs. I think it's like 4 or 5 times higher. However, it's 4 or 5 times higher to drop the diamonds, but the cost is literally like 15 times higher. So that was my idea. Have a 5 times less chance of getting diamonds, but have a 15 times less cost of getting them. That surely is profitable, right? And on top of that, Arbiter is the only place to drop rare precursor tablets that are corrupted. These can roll up to 4 mods. So if you look here, this has 4 mods. This one only has 3. And these 4 mods can be 2 prefixes, 2 suffixes. So you can end up getting things like 10% quant, 40% rare monsters, as well as like other really good stuff on the suffixes. But these have the chance to be worth quite a bit. And when I mean quite a bit, I mean like on the low end, they're a null. And on the high end, they're like 4 or 5 div. And on the very high end, you can even sell some for like 9, 10 div. So my thought process was these rare tablets should be able to pay for the cost of the entry to the boss, if not turn a little bit of profit. And then the odds of hitting a diamond on the Uber Elder is like 1 in 6 or like 1 in 7, something like that. But the odds of hitting the diamond on the normal boss is like 2% chance or maybe 3% chance. Still, the math stands. It only costs us 33 div to run 100 arbiters. If it's a 2% chance, we drop 2 diamonds on average, which means we're going to be making like 70 div, 65, 70 div just off of the diamonds. That would still be like a 30 div profit over 100 runs. However, the actual breakdown was something a little bit better. We were able to drop 3 diamonds. And I actually believe the drop rate for the diamonds is closer to 3, maybe 4%. Because although I only dropped 3 diamonds in my 100 runs, I probably also ran like 10 additional runs before that during the Uber Arbiter test, and I dropped 2 diamonds there. Take that how you will, but over the course of 110 runs, I dropped like 5 diamonds, and over the course of 100 runs, I dropped 3. So we're only counting those 3. We can just say that we got lucky on that, but I think even if it's just 3, that's still quite a bit of profit. If we just count the diamonds and we just count the cost of getting in, we profited like 60 div. However, very, very importantly, these tablets sell for an absolute metric shit ton. Each time you run a Normal Arbiter, you drop one of these unidentified tablets. One thing to consider is these Ritual Precursor tablets, white or unidentified as blue, sell for 3 annuls each. As you can imagine, the rare variants of these have the chance to go absolutely sicko. I made over 40 div just selling my tablets overnight. I still have all of these left over. There's easily 10 div worth of tablets left in here. Let's just count this as 20 divines and 54 nulls, which is roughly 22 div. Let's just count that as 42 div. As a result, I profited like 110 div running these 100 Arbiter runs. And you might be thinking, 100 Arbiter runs, that's gonna take you a while. It took me 2.5 hours. It took me 2.5 hours. I profited like 45 div an hour doing this shit. It was crazy. Believe it or not, this was the most profitable farm I've done the entire league. So the way it works is you need to go into this burning monolith. If you don't have access to it and it's in the fog, that's fine. You can just click on it and still traverse through it. And it'll take you to this area. And you have to go and you have to input your fragments. And you can't just click on the fragment and auto inputs. You have to actually put the fragments in like that. However, if you play on the controller, which you can just plug into your PC or wireless like Bluetooth into your PC, it's actually a lot better. Because as you can see here, you can just press A and it autofills the tablets. And then you can press A again and it activates and brings you in. It's a lot less tedious. It saves you 10 seconds, but over a course of 100 runs, it's definitely worth it to do. And it's just a lot more comfy and a lot less tedious to do. So I definitely recommend that you use the controller to do this. On top of that, the boss fight is incredibly easy, okay? For 2 reasons. Number 1, I have 60k lightning arrow damage. I'm using a Kadiros. I'm on my whole mapping setup. I have a 60 rarity ring. That's fine. It doesn't change anything. I am still gonna shit on this guy. So the way it works is this guy, at the start of the fight, he's gonna fire a beam, right? During that beam, he has insane damage reduction. Like you see that? I don't do any damage, but at the end of the beam, he loses that damage reduction and you just blast him. So if you have an ability that requires you to like preload like lightning arrow, then wait till the end of the beam before you blast him. Number 2, even if he kills you, right? It's tier 1 Arbiter. You can just run it back and try again. There is literally 0 risk of death here. There's 0 risk of losing your entrance to the boss. It is really easy to do, like you won't die. But even if you do die, it doesn't matter. Like, let me show you. I'm attacking him, that's the DR. And then without DR, right? It's like 3 or 4x the damage. But he will always get to the second phase, so even if you can one-shot him in this first phase, he will always get to the second phase no matter what, with like 1 HP or some shit. But the second phase is super easy. You just kill his ass. And that's all there is to the fight. It's super simple. Boom. Ritual Precursor Tablet. This shit unidentified is 4 nulls. You can kind of see like it's very, very hard not to profit at this current price point. One last thing I want to mention. If you're like mapping or whatever, you want to try the strategy, every time you spawn in the map, you're going to have to go all the way back to the home screen, back to the beginning, and then come back to this burning monolith. If, however, you just come in here, any waystone into a map near your burning monolith, go into the map really quickly, go out of the map really quickly, and then open up the map device again. When you enter the map device, you will always be right near the burning monolith, and then you can just start the burning monolith like that. The same thing works for like the Realm Gate, so if you want to farm Breach or Olroth or whatever, do the same tech. I just thought it was worth mentioning. I think most of you guys already knew that, but in case you didn't, there you have it. And that's pretty much the whole strategy. The way I would kind of recommend going about this is that it's heavily based on the cost of the fragments. These only cost me 1/3 of a div each. However, even if these cost me a div each, I made 150 div total. And I think that's probably average what you're going to be making. 150 div, at worst 120 div. So even at 1 div, you are still going to be profiting 20 to 50 div over 100 runs. And 100 runs, it took me 2 hours and 30 minutes. So ultimately what that means is if the price of these fragments triple in cost, we would still be making 150 div over 100 runs minus 100 div in costs, 1 div per attempt. That's 50 div profit over 2.5 hours. It's still 20 div an hour profit, man. It's actually fucking insane. And it's very, very low entry. The reason why I wanted to showcase this and the reason why I'm pretty proud of the strategy is just because if you guys follow the meta, oh, I saw this ritual strategy, I saw this breachstone strategy, and you just go and you do whatever the YouTubers or the streamers are telling you to do, you're going to lose a lot of your margins. The strategies, when you find them, are not going to be that juicy anymore. Don't just think, oh, the price of the fragment is too high, this strategy sucks now, I can't profit off of it. Something really cool about this strategy is that who the fuck was running Normal Arbiter, right? Like no one. Same thing with like crafting. I tell you guys, just think outside the box a little bit. If you can kind of innovate and change the strategy just a little bit, or you can kind of think outside the box and do something that other people aren't doing that isn't currently meta, there is so much profit to be made. Although a game like PoE2 is still like in its infancy, it still has a lot of complexity to it, and there's a lot of hidden gems out there, and it's kind of just on us to go out and find them. But that's pretty much the whole video. I hope you guys are able to give it a shot and the prices of the fragments don't go up too high, but even if they do, wait a couple days and then send it then. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate all the support you guys have given me. If this video was helpful or if you thought the idea was cool, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I hope to see you guys again in the next one.